Is a welder a continuous load? I don't even know why that's a question, but for some reason when I did a video on sizing welder circuits a couple weeks ago, that seemed to be a pretty common statement down in the comments section. I believe there are two answers to that question, the code answer and the common sense answer, both of which are no. Let me explain why. From a code standpoint, I don't see how we could argue that it's a continuous load for a couple reasons. Number one, Article 630 makes absolutely no mention of a continuous load. And number two, and more importantly, see the definition of continuous load in Article 100. The definition of a continuous load is that it has to be at its maximum current draw for 3 consecutive hours or more. I had some folks in the comments tell me that if you have your water plugged in all day long, that the fan and the electronics are still going to be running, therefore it's a continuous load. Here's the thing, if you don't actively have an arc struck, it is not at its maximum current draw. Yes, the machine might be drawing a little bit of current for 3 hours or more if you have it plugged in all day, but unless you are actively welding on the material, it is not drawing its maximum current. Depending on what welding process you're using, I don't see how you're going to have an arc struck for any more than 60 or 90 seconds tops. Let me use stick welding as an example. How long do you think it takes to go through a 14-inch 7018 rod? Maybe 60 seconds tops. TIG rods are double the length, so I could see how you could maybe have it going for a couple minutes straight. And even with MIG, if you have a massive spool of MIG wire, you mean to tell me you're going to have that trigger on your MIG torch held down for 3 hours straight without lifting your mask up one time? That just doesn't make any sense. But I'm done talking about it for right now, so let's just do some welding and I'll talk about what's happening with the machine in terms of current draw. So right now I got it plugged in, electronics are on, the fan runs intermittently, but it's not even drawing an amp. Here I got a 14-inch long, 3/32 7018 rod. I got about 90 amps going through it. Let's go ahead and strike an arc. So as soon as I struck the arc, there was a high amount of inrush and startup current. That's why we upsize our breakers when we run dedicated circuits for welders. Now, as I maintain that arc, the current is going to plane out with a little fluctuation, mainly because of arc length, because I'm a shitty welder. Anyways, I'm fast forwarding this and doing a voiceover. It took exactly 56 seconds for me to burn this entire rod. As soon as I lifted the rod off of the workpiece, the unit was no longer drawing its maximum current, and the clock for considering it a continuous load reset. Let's go ahead and chip this slag off here. And before anyone says anything, I'm an electrician, not a welder. Honestly, I don't think that's half bad for an electrician, although if you're a professional welder, I'm open to advice. Let me know down in the comments below what you think of my welding technique. And by the way, guys, if any of you are in the market for a nice multi-process welding machine, I got this guy from Mark Captain. This is the MIG 200. Like I said, it's a multi-process. It'll do MIG, flux core stick, and TIG. If you want to snag one for yourself, you can go ahead and click that link down below. Anyways, hopefully this topic makes a little bit more sense. If you have any more questions, you can always DM me or drop it down in the comments below.